Hello, it's Layefa. This video is such a weird one. Literally, it feels like the world is burning. The country my parents come from, the country my grandparents come from, it just feels like it's on fire. I don't live there. I live in the UK. I am a British Nigerian. But that being said, I'm still Nigerian. This is a disclaimer to the video clip you're about to see. I pre-recorded a video for my podcast and I'm not sure it's going to go up, but as things have escalated, it feels really poignant that I should put it up sooner rather than later. I'm not sure if the full clip will ever go up, but I was having a discussion with my friend who has lived in Nigeria, but she now lives in the UK also. Just her talking of her experience, which isn't, to be fair, it isn't as bad as some other experiences that I've heard from people personally. Prior to now, I don't know of SARS. I just see it all as police. Like, it's all police brutality. I don't know the difference. Obviously, I've been to Nigeria, but as somebody, a visitor, an outsider going in, my experience is very different, or has been very different, and I've been very protected. So I don't have much to speak on. Personally, my thoughts are that, and I feel like, yeah, it might be easy for me to say because I don't live there, but from an outsider looking in and from the stories that I've heard, and it feels like it's not something new, but it's because the world is on fire, and it just feels like everybody's had enough. And my thoughts are, it's all well said and done to say end SARS, which, yes, that should be done, but Nigeria's problem is more than SARS. And that's from an outsider looking in, that I'm close, but I'm not close enough. There's a lack of trust between Nigerians that live there. And sometimes that attitude of lack of trust also translates within the diaspora. And there's in the country itself, there's no accountability. These are my observations, small observations, and feel free to comment, add your source, add your experiences, because the more we talk about it, the more something can be done. Unfortunately, I feel it's packed with so much. There's so much weight attached to trying to act as a democracy, trying to, have a peaceful protest and get your voices heard. And still, up till now, the president of this nation hasn't come out and said a word. Maybe by the time I upload this video, he will have done. But yeah, this is like a really long disclaimer. Please share, comment. I feel like the more of us that talk about it, and especially if you have personal connections to back home, family, friends, speak to them, hear their voices. Some of us have direct connections. Let's talk to our people. Support in any way we can. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, enjoy the clip.
You know what I also want to ask you, actually, because I saw this on your Instagram and I haven't spoken about it because I just feel it hasn't pulled me enough, and I will explain to you why. But can you, as a Nigerian, explain to me, I mean, I've seen it on the Instagram, but can you explain to me what SARS is and your own experience of it? Because I feel like I have a vague experience, but I've never lived in Nigeria. Yeah. And we're both Nigerian, by...
To be fair, I think I'm not the right person to ask because I kind of knew when SARS was, like in 2015, before I came. I know that they were making a lot of noise about SARS that time. They're like, oh, SARS, anti, what was it, fraud and everything. They're going to get the bad guys. And I'm like, okay, that SARS is above the police. Like, they're like the FBI, kind of like, so I'm like, okay, this should be cool. And, when I heard about it initially, I was thinking, okay, this is a good thing. But obviously, I was just like, Nigeria, come on. Are they going to pay them? Because already with the police, there's just so much corruption. They're not being paid properly and everything. And the police, they can go around like slapping people. I know that I've seen my cousins get beat by the police and things like that, or police stop you and you don't stop and they can pull you out and malhandle you and mistreat you and everything. And I've seen that. But the difference is with the police in Nigeria, you just tell them, do you know who my uncle is? And then you get the phone, and then the police will back down because they don't know who your uncle is. They might lose their job. But what I had heard is that with SARS, there's nothing like that. Whoever your uncle is, they can do whatever because they are employed to take down the bad guys. So I was like, when I heard about it, I was like, okay, this is a good thing. But because, again, it's Nigeria, they have to be paid really, really well, you know, to do the job properly. And years down the line now, I'm now hearing that they were even worse, you know, killing people, and like hearing experiences from people that I know who had been beat by them for no reason. You know, you speak to them the wrong way, you know, and things like that. So I'm just like, man, it's so messed up, you know.
Have you had any personal experience when you were living there, or like witnessed anything crazy?
The truth is, when I was living in Nigeria, the police is not my friend. I was scared of the police. You know, I was very scared. Like, you see police, either they want to, like, growing up when I was younger, I think because I had experienced a cousin, I think it was of mine, when I was young, get beat up by the police. I grew up with that, oh my gosh, the police can just beat you up, you know. And even like when I used to travel on the bus, and I did some crazy things. I used to travel from Port Harcourt, where I lived, to different places by public transport, by the bus, and the police would constantly stop the bus drivers, and you know, they would try and extort money from the bus drivers, and like the bus conductor can get beat up just because he was rude to the police officer or something like that. So experiencing all those kind of things, I'm like, man, if I ever come in contact with the police, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So when I started driving in Nigeria, I was always like, if I see the police, I could literally just turn back and go in a different direction. Because like when I say police, I don't mean like just walk. I mean like if they had like, what do they call it when the police stops? Like they have the stop and not even stop and search. They've like they've blocked the road and they have
like
a checkpoint.
Checkpoints.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever I would see police checkpoints from afar, I would turn around, because I don't have you tell me to give you money. I don't have money to be giving. How much am I going to give you? I give you something, you tell me, is this what you're giving me? Twice. You slap my face. I'm not even ready for that kind of thing. So I just used to avoid the police. But there was once when a friend and I were going out, and my friend, he was driving my car, and we were driving, and a police officer stopped him. And he's like, show me your particulars. Already he's driving my car, so he knew that that would bring some problems. So, and he was from here, like he moved back to Nigeria from the UK, so he didn't have the Niger strong experience, you know, with the police. Those ones, they would just tell the guy, guy, how far now, you know, there's some kind of lingo they'll use, they'll put something in police officer's hand. I've experienced that one. But this, my friend, is Botti, me and Botti, what are we supposed to do? Like, I'm like, we are dead, we are finished. But he was really clever. He just said, I'm sorry, officer. He started speaking with his British accent. He's like, da, da, da. The guy said, you know, you from here? It's like, no, not really. You know, what am I supposed to do? Was I driving on the wrong side? What was I doing? I'm not too sure. I'm not very familiar with these roads, you know? And then the police said, I better come off for here. You don't speak English. So he just drove away. He's like, phew. And that's how we managed to escape that one. But no, I haven't had, you know, that many experiences with the police in Nigeria, thankfully.
Oh, well, that the thing is, because the reason I ask, because like I haven't spoken up about it, and reluctantly so, because I don't have experience of it, never lived there. And yeah, I've been there but never lived. And you know, when it's like people want to hear what's your intake, what's your point of view, and I don't really have a positive mindset as to what will happen after the protesting, just because of, I remember being very, and I know if there are Nigerians watching and they're or listening and you're very patriotic and everything that I sound like comes out negative, that's not my intention. It's just, you know, when you just speak your truth, and it's like, what I'm saying is, when the girls save our,
Chibok girls.
yes, I was caught by that. And up till now, it's like, what happened? Yeah, what happened with that? So I almost feel like democracy, I haven't lived there obviously, but from the outside looking in, I'm just saying from an outsider looking in, it feels like democracy doesn't work. It feels like protesting doesn't work unless you have money. Like, unless somebody is coming with to throw money onto it, then the government listens. The government, it feels to me like the government doesn't listen to the masses, doesn't listen to an ordinary person in Nigeria. So I'm like, because I even saw on social media, they were protesting in London outside the Nigerian embassy. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it went far. Like, they were protesting in London, and I was like, oh, this is really, really good. But I am, unfortunately, just through what I've seen so far, I'm not convinced by what, I mean, it'd be great, like, if something does happen, but already speaking to my husband about it, he expressed to me that they've already come up with a new department or a new police squad called SWAT or something like that. And I'm like, so what on earth was the point? Like, yeah, they said, oh yeah, we've stopped SARS.
We just swapped the
swap
some letters around.
And yes, SARS is no more, and now we have this. I'm like, so what is the point of protesting? What is the point of having a so-called democracy? Like, it's just void. It's just pointless. So,
and then some Nigerians were like, look, we're not stupid, yeah? Can you stop it? We're not stupid. Just changing the letters round doesn't change anything. For me, I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you, because like my husband and I were talking as well, and we're like, do you think anything's going to happen? You know, we're loving how the younger generation are outspoken and not afraid, because I mean, this is not something that would have happened, you know, when I was growing up. Like, when I was younger, I wouldn't be on the streets protesting, but you see the young people who are doing it, and it's just like, wow, I'm loving what they're doing. But at the end of the day, you're like, you don't know, will there really be any change? We're hopeful. That's all we can be at the end of the day.
In terms of a democracy, I almost feel like it should just be torn apart and start again. Like, the whole, like, just because I feel like post-colonialism, if that's the term, I just feel like, as big as Nigeria is, and it just feels like, we should have done better by now.
Yes,
there should have been more done by now. Like, we're doing amazing stuff in terms of, even within the arts, because that's what I look at, like the whole Nollywood music. We are influencing the world. But on a basic level, like, obviously I'm always gonna compare the UK, but if you can bring up just the healthcare of the very, you know, working class person. But I'm like, I can't, like, it's easier for me to say this because I'm here. Like, it's easier for me to have that chat, and I've never even lived there. It's easy for me to say all these things and come up with these, but like, I feel like I'd have to live there to see how deep it is.
Let me tell you, and I know people will not like me for saying this. They probably want to shoot me, but the truth is, when I was in the UK in 2011,
in the UK,
I moved back with so many plans and ideas for what I was going to do. When I get back to Nigeria, I'm going to do this. You see people move back, and, you know, they look like they're doing so well, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, and they start with, I want to change the country. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. And there's so much pushback, you know, because I know so many people who've been like, oh, I know the solution to electricity. I know how we can get running water. I know how we can get this. And then they go and they try so hard, and there's pushback because there's corruption, and there are people who are benefiting from the, you know, I know that you've heard this, and everybody in Nigeria knows this. And I'm like, so if everybody knows this, why is nobody doing, like, why? I don't understand how the people at the top can see a country with no electricity and be okay with it. I don't understand it. You know, so moving back, I was like, yes, going to transform education in Nigeria, going to do this, going to do that. And then even going there, like, somebody just come up to your office and be like, I've come to collect this thing for our youths. You do not employ any of our youths. We are the boys from the area. We've come to collect the something dues. This is the paper. It says you have to pay us 15,000 because and you start haggling with and me, like I am. Do I look like somebody that will have the energy to be discussing with these boys? You know, and you have to come with some kind of. I always said when I was in secondary school, I had to become an actor to go to school in the mornings, because on the bus, you're on the bus ride, and then everybody's just so hyper. So, and me, I'm just there gentle. I'm like, they will kill you on this bus, meme. You cannot be speaking English on this bus. So, oh my gosh, I'll be like, conductor, my change. You know, I would have to change and become this aggressive person just to kind of blend in and not be taken advantage of and everything. And I just feel like the culture sometimes is very, you know, everybody, okay, let me see. And to the point where some people will tell you, I will eat her money because she has it. You know, they have money, so I will chop it. You know, and you're like, how is that even? So at a point, I was just like, you know what? I'm just wasting my time. You give this one 15,000, and another one comes in and says, me, I'm from the Ogolo boys on this side, and I've come to collect my own. You've not employed any of our workers. It is said in chapter something that you have to. I'm like, what is all this? You know, it's very stressful to run a business when you don't know, you know, all these things. So you now have to hire somebody who lives there, who speaks the language, who understands the way these people think. Then you hire that one and bring them in, and then they're speaking and they're helping you, and they're saying, no, I will give you your own cut, then I'll collect my own. Then that person is also duping you. You're like, where are the? So I've had bad experiences, and after those experiences, I just packed my things. Goodbye.
Had friends who have said how they've moved back to maybe not Nigeria specifically, but West Africa, and being born and brought up here, and they said you have to climatize to that lifestyle. You have to become accustomed, because you can't come with your Britishness, your Europeanness, and think that you have to. And I'm just like, me, that I'm like this, and I like simple life. I just mind my business, and then like I just but like I've got so much to say as an outsider, but I feel like it's not fair. It's not fair for me to have so much talk and I haven't experienced it. It's just the stories that I've heard, and unfortunately, the bad stories overshadow the good stories.
That is true.
Yeah.
There are some people I know love it. Like they wouldn't trade. I know people who have British passports, who are British citizens, that choose to stay and live in Nigeria. They just say, you can make it here, you know, you can live a better lifestyle. Me, I like peace, I like quiet, I think it just depends on the person, the individual. There's some people that can, you know, like you said, acclimatize to it and just, you know, go with it, but not. And there's some people, like, I feel like there's some very wealthy families who don't even know what I'm talking about because they've never experienced it. Because it's just from one arm of wealth to another. They just mingle with themselves. So they don't experience the everyday life. They don't experience all these things I'm talking about, you know, because they have the money. So if you have a lot of money, you can survive easily, you know, but if you're trying to build and earn an honest living, quiet life, I'm sorry, it's just not for you. Personally, that's my experience from living in Nigeria, you know, so.
And, you know,
I love it from a distance. I love Nigerians. I love the people. I think Nigerians are amazing people, you know, but the country is hard.